not needing women or the opposite gender is a greater pleasure than having them. Because you realize that nothing in this world can actually complete you. Nothing in this world can actually give you true happiness. It can only give you the illusion of it. And you realize that the greatest pleasure is in not wanting and not needing anything and being beyond this Maya, beyond this world. As Sage Ramana said, the emperor is no match for a man with no want, even the greatest emperor. And the beauty of that statement is that Ramana is saying that the sage is beyond the king. The enlightened one is beyond the king. And you don't have to be a sage in order to be enlightened, because King Janaka was a king and he was enlightened, and he learned from Sage Ashtavakta. So a lot of people get caught up in they miss out on the value of a guru because their ego is scared of true spirituality. Their ego is scared of being beyond an illusion forever. So it's scared of being beyond itself forever. That's why the ego's scared of sages, and that's why most of the world doesn't go to sages. The enlightenment will never, contrary to popular belief, enlightenment will always have that same cycle where you have some sorrow. You have these people who listen to the sages and become free, and you'll have these fools who they're devoted to material life. And then you tell these people, be devoted to wisdom, be devoted to the sages, and they have a problem with that. But when you tell them to be devoted to the Kim Kardashian drama, they have no problem with giving their attention and focus to that. But when you tell them to devote themselves to the sage, who's trying to lead them to a state beyond this world and give them their true throne, they have a problem with that. They're scared of it because the ego is backwards. The ego is stupid. That's why we're having holy wars in Gaza. I always say enlightenment has never been popular, or we wouldn't be fighting wars over imaginary holy land over and over again in history. And the beauty of this is that, you know, when you have a scratch and then you have an itch and you scratch it, well, enlightenment is never having the itch in the first place, but people are so addicted to the scratch, not realizing they're infecting their skin. And the problem with this is that especially men, they're so caught up in the way things look that they can't see them as they are. And the beauty and the poison of lust is that it blocks you from seeing the beauty of reality. Because even though reality is stupid and nonsensical, you can enjoy it, but lust is seeing something and wanting it to be yours. But that's the opposite to reality. And this is different from procreation in the sense that procreation is different from lust. Procreation is two humans coming together for the goal of creating anew. But lust is trying to satisfy animalistic desires. And then when you don't get that satisfied, then you feel hurt. I'm telling you, the less a man has ego, the less power a woman has over him. But the more ego that a man has, the more power a woman has over him. I'm telling you, even the greatest kings, like, for example, Sage Rama's father, he betrayed Ram because he had made a promise to his wife. Isn't that fucking crazy? Somebody even betrayed God, Sage Rama himself, because he was scared of betraying his wife. That's how stupid people are. That's how stupid this world is. He'll betray even God for a woman just to keep her around, to have some pleasure around. That's how stupid this world is. But Rama, he was going to the forest, and he didn't even expect Sita to come with him. He was okay with her coming with him. But Sita was such a loyal wife that she wanted to come with him anyway. And that's the beauty of somebody who's beyond lust like Ram, is that you're not desperate for a woman, so you can have the correct woman. But men, they're so used to just satisfying their base animalistic desires that they'll just have sex with any woman, and it's like, oh, any woman props up their ego. Even though, you know, if you look out through history, the greatest way that women finessed kings was by building their ego up and then tearing that shit down. But actually, the greatest freedom is not even having to think highly of yourself. It's just think as you are. That's why I don't understand like fake gurus or anything, or just fake spiritual people who they feel highly of themselves. They feel like they're higher than thou, and they have to act a certain way to appear holy. I don't understand that, because the greatest freedom is actually to not think of yourself as anything, to not think of yourself as holy, to not think of yourself as lustful, to not think of yourself as non-lustful. You just are as you are, just your pure being, not worried about what other people think of you, not worrying if you're gonna get a wife or if you're gonna die alone, if you're gonna be with this person or that person. You just are as you are. You don't care what happens, you just see it as it happens and laugh. But a lot of people, they're so caught up in the game of lust. As Siddhar Meswar said, even though Maya the illusion is ugly, still people are devoted to her. And that, it's funny how like synonymous it is with men. It's like men are so caught up in like, women will be abusing men, doing all types of nasty stuff to them, but because she's just pretty. And it's the same thing goes for women. It's like, you ever hear those women who they actually prefer pain? Like they prefer to go in that masochistic cycle where it's like, you ever observe a woman, and it's like you notice she sleeps with men more who care less about her and ignores the men that do care about her. And that's the nature of this world, is that most people don't actually truly want peace. They want chaos and nonsense. But the reason you're here, or you know, some people, they're even here, but they're not really here. You know what I'm saying? It's very few, like, a lot of people visit the sages or the gurus, but not a lot of people listen to them. And it's funny that people, they prioritize material life way more. For example, if a beautiful woman asks them on a date, they're so willing to give up their money. But if a guru asks for a donation, or if a guru has a course that maybe he has a price for, they say, oh, he's a fake guru. Because people are so egotistical and so narcissistic and backwards that they give to what is taken away from them, and they don't want to give to somebody who is giving them an infinite wealth. So that's how stupid people are in the West, is that the reason you see most gurus don't charge in the East is because they don't have to charge. The East is so grateful. Like, there was a story of how the West, this just proves how materialistic the West is and how caught up in lust it is. This head monk had a retreat, right? And he didn't set a price for it, and all his Thailand monks had given him money and donated. But you know who didn't donate? The Americans didn't donate. So you see how people, they'll give to somebody who is giving nothing to them and then take away from somebody who's giving everything to them. Swami Vivekananda talked about that. So people have to devote themselves and put their focus on to their true wealth, what the sages are trying to give you, divine glory, your divine throne that's beyond this world. You see, that's why a sage is beyond a king. That's why Neem Karoli Baba is called Maharaji, a king of kings, because he is beyond lust. Because even a king, like Sage Rama's father, was caught up in the being obsessed with his wife and fulfilling his wife's wishes, while the sage doesn't want to fulfill anybody's wishes but his own freedom. And the sage, he only wants to make his guru happy. And what makes his guru happy? Him being free. But it's funny, people will be codependent on romantic partners who don't even care about them, in the sense that when the guru is trying to free you from all codependency, but when they tell you to be devoted to somebody who's trying to give you freedom, people don't want to listen to that. But when somebody's trying to imprison them and keep them in the game of Maya, which is woman, or the opposite gender, or men, and remember, this is a genderless video. When people are caught up in the fascination of existence, they're so willing to partake in that. When somebody's trying to free them, they don't want to partake in it. That's how backwards the ego is. But I'm just trying to awaken you to the fact that instead of being caught up in this world and attaining something in this world and getting that and scratching that itch, go beyond the itch completely by listening to the guru and practicing under a Sadguru and really getting your lust in control and bringing it under reins. So just be free and be as you are, and know that you are beyond lust, and that material life has nothing to give you, and the guru has everything to give you, because he's leading you beyond the state that needs to be given. You are beyond gain or loss. You are beyond the need for a companion or for a need for anything. You just are as you are, so be free. I'll tell you guys a story. There was a story about how Sage Nisargadatta, he was telling that a devotee told that he heard Nisargadatta saying. And he was talking about how Nisargadatta was talking about his wife, and that how she used to boss him around and tell him to go this place and that place. And that the day she died, he married freedom. And it's beautiful that he is so free, that so many men are so scared of dying alone. And Nisargadatta embraced dying alone. And in the end, because he was so beyond lust, he was surrounded by loving devotees. Even though he didn't even care about having anybody around him, he had so much love around him. So it's being beyond lust is true freedom. Being beyond the need for somebody makes you truly free. And the beauty of this is that they tried to get Nisargadatta married again, actually, when he was young, in his 40s. But he didn't even want to get married again. He was so beyond this world. He didn't even want to get married again. Which is, I'm not saying that because you get married, you're not enlightened. I'm just saying that in the context of his life in that moment, he was just so beyond it, you know? It's beautiful. So also I want to talk about how I'll be having another satsang. I mentioned this in the last video, but just mentioning it again. The confirmed time for the satsang, the second public satsang, is August 22nd, 7 p.m. The doors open, so just letting people know. It's about 11 days before, so just letting people know early so they can, you know, because I know people are coming from all types of states and stuff like that, so, you know, just letting you guys know early. I really got nothing more to say. If you want more details, hit me up in the caption or in my email, at my email.